My father is an extraterrestrial. A son's shocking confession that will change everything you believe about alien contact. What I'm about to reveal has been kept secret for decades, and it involves my own father. This isn't just another alien story. This is about a man who glows in the dark, who walks through walls, and who has been in direct contact with beings from other worlds since before I was born. My name is Alan, and this is the truth about growing up with a father who isn't entirely human. Before we go any further, I need you to understand something. Everything you think you know about extraterrestrial contact is about to be shattered. The government files, the conspiracy theories, the blurry photos, forget all of it. What you're about to hear is a first-hand account from someone who lived inside this reality every single day of his life. Someone who watched his father communicate with beings of light, who witnessed teleportation, who saw things that physics says shouldn't be possible. And the most terrifying part is that this is all documented. This all happened in Brazil, in a small project in Mato Grosso do Sul, where my father Yurnder Fernandes de Oliveira has been conducting his mission for years. I was 6 years old the first time I saw something that changed my perception of reality forever. We were living in a tiny house in Presidente Venceslau, basically a studio apartment where my brother and I slept in the hallway on mattresses. It was the middle of the night, and I woke up with this overwhelming feeling of dread. You know that primal fear that hits you as a child when something feels wrong? That's what I felt. Then my father's bedroom door opened, and what I saw next defied every law of nature I had been taught. A completely illuminated figure stepped out of that room. Not illuminated like someone holding a flashlight. Illuminated from within. Every single part of his body was glowing with an otherworldly light. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. It wasn't his skin that was glowing. It was his skeleton. I could see every bone in his body radiating light, as if his entire skeletal structure had been replaced with pure energy. His skull, his ribs, his hands, everything was visible through this luminous form. When he opened his mouth, multiple lights emerged from inside. My brother kept saying, "It's Dad, it's Dad," but I was convinced I was seeing a ghost. That was the only reference point I had as a 6-year-old. Something white and glowing had to be a ghost. I covered myself with the blanket, trembling, but my father approached us calmly and simply said, "Kid, it's me." That was his way of teaching us. He never sat us down for formal explanations. He showed us. He let us experience things that would fundamentally alter our understanding of what's possible in this universe. Years later, when I asked him about that night, he explained he had been working with Kundalini energy and training to achieve this full-body illumination. It was part of his preparation for his mission. He wanted to prove to people that there was something beyond our conventional reality, and he chose to show his own children first. That's when I realized my childhood was never going to be normal. Growing up, we saw things that other kids never experienced. Forks would bend and break during meals. Objects would disappear from one place and reappear in another. My father would create balls of light in his hands. He would demonstrate abilities that seemed like magic, but I came to understand were something far more complex. Something connected to these beings he was in contact with. Do you believe there's life on other planets? Have you ever considered that some humans might be in direct communication with these beings right now? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because what I'm about to share next will challenge everything you think you know. My father never forced his knowledge on us. He was incredibly subtle in his teaching methods. He would create situations where we would discover truths on our own rather than having them imposed on us. He understood that radical approaches either make people love you intensely or hate you intensely, so he found this middle ground. This gentle guidance that allowed us to walk our own path while he quietly moved pieces behind the scenes to help us along. When I was older, my father told my mother he had to move to Mato Grosso do Sul. He'd had a dream about a specific location and needed to go there. My mother, bless her heart, told him she would support whatever he needed to do. She said, "You're my husband. I'll always be by your side helping you no matter what you're doing." So we moved to this remote area that was completely covered in dense forest. We lived in a small palm leaf house, cooking on a tiny stove, completely isolated. It was 3 kilometers from our house to the top of a hill where we could make contact. My father would walk along the fence line to reach the meeting points where he communicated with these white beings. I saw them too, mostly outside our house in the yard, though sometimes inside the house it was just pure light. Subtle manifestations, but undeniable. These weren't hallucinations. These weren't dreams. This was physical reality happening right in front of us. Then came the Rio de Janeiro phase, where my father began performing healings to gather a specific number of people for his mission. Meanwhile, we stayed at the project in Mato Grosso, living in primitive conditions. But you know what? That so-called primitive lifestyle taught us more about reality than any university ever could. We learned to read energy. We learned to see what's coming before it arrives. We learned that everything that happens in a person's life sends energy signatures ahead of time, and if you know how to decode those signatures, you can prepare for what's coming. The land itself where we lived was special. My father needed to buy the property but had no money. The landowner laughed when my father said he wanted to purchase the land. But then something incredible happened. The man looked at my father and said, "I feel something about you. Take the land. Pay me when you can." And my father did eventually pay him back. That's the kind of inexplicable trust my father inspired in people. They could sense something different about him even if they couldn't articulate what it was. Money never stuck to my father. He could never accumulate wealth because he always gave it away. He never prioritized his personal comfort. Never had a nice house, never had a good bed. He remained simple, focused entirely on the mission rather than material accumulation. That's how we were raised too. If there was one place to sleep, my brother and I would share it without question. We learned that comfort is temporary but purpose is eternal. After my first visual contact with these beings, the real training began. Intensive preparation. We learned symbology, how to walk in complete darkness without a flashlight to develop our third eye and sensitivity. We learned to feel people's energy fields and decode them. For example, if I'm talking to someone and suddenly I see a silver light pulsing in their solar plexus, I can read what that means based on the intensity, the frequency, whether it's opaque or translucent. There are millions of these codifications, and we learned them through direct contact with the beings that my father had prepared us to meet. But here's where my story takes an even more intense turn. My first physical contact with an extraterrestrial being happened when I was still quite young. I had to leave the project at midnight and walk to a location behind the hill, descending into the craters, passing an abyss, and reaching a cavern by 1 in the morning. The catch was I had to do this entire journey in complete darkness. No flashlight, no illumination of any kind. This was to train my third vision, my sensitivity, my ability to navigate using senses beyond the conventional 5. I was used to walking in the forest, so the animal sounds and night noises didn't bother me much. But after 40 minutes of walking through completely wild terrain, I reached an abyss that I had to descend very carefully. It was dangerous. Below there was a small stream. The path split into 2 directions, forming a Y shape. I needed to take the right path to reach the cavern. When I got to that junction, I looked left first toward the stream. Then I turned right, and there it was. An extraterrestrial being standing directly in front of my face. So close I could have touched it. Its eyelid blinked slowly and I froze completely. Then something happened that I'm almost embarrassed to admit. I lost control of my bladder. The sheer shock and fear of seeing this being at such close proximity, in the darkness of the forest, overwhelmed my 6-year-old nervous system. But then something changed. I realized the worst had already happened. I had seen it. I had survived the initial shock. So when the being turned its back to me and started walking, telepathically communicating, "Follow me," I did. What else was I going to do? The hardest part was already over. We walked together to the cavern. When we arrived, the being stopped, and on the cavern wall, a small light began to grow. The wall itself started expanding as if becoming a portal. And then I heard my father's laughter. Not the being's laughter. My father's laughter coming from inside this wall. Then my father stepped out of the wall, out of this light portal, smiling at me. The being wasn't my father in disguise. It was a separate entity. But my father had been inside that portal space and emerged to greet me after this creature had guided me there. That's when I understood. My father wasn't just in contact with these beings. He could travel with them. He could move through dimensions. He could step through solid matter. And this was my initiation. This was him showing me that the universe operates on principles far beyond what we're taught in school. After that first contact, everything accelerated. My brother and I began having regular contact with these beings. They would pass information to us just as they did with our father. The training became more sophisticated. We learned that everything paranormal, everything that seems impossible, is simply physics we haven't fully understood yet. My father created situations where we would learn these lessons organically rather than being lectured. Here's something most people don't realize about extraterrestrial contact. It's not just about seeing a ship or meeting a being. It's about a complete restructuring of consciousness. These beings taught us that in this third-dimensional reality, we still have time to correct our mistakes. We can think something, do it wrong, and fix it. But in the fourth dimension and beyond, thought becomes instant manifestation. Whatever you think happens immediately. So this life, this physical existence, is actually a training ground. A place where we can make errors and learn from them before we graduate to realms where mistakes have instant and irreversible consequences. My father taught us this through experience rather than lectures. He would never say this is right or this is wrong. He would simply present options and let us discover the consequences ourselves. That's the most profound form of teaching because it creates genuine understanding rather than obedience. Now here's something that will blow your mind. The symbology readings, the paranormal effects, the energy work that my brother and I do, that's the minimum of what we're capable of. We know how to do much more, but we're not permitted to reveal everything yet. There are abilities we possess that require humanity to reach a certain level of consciousness before they can be demonstrated. It's not about holding back information. It's about respecting the evolutionary process. If we showed certain things too early, it could cause more harm than good. The training we received, every person who comes to the project now receives similar preparation. Many are already surpassing what we achieved because they have better infrastructure, better support systems. My brother and I had to figure things out in the wilderness with almost nothing. Now there are resources, guidance, a community of people all growing together. It's beautiful to see. But let me tell you about the division of our mission because this is crucial to understanding the bigger picture. My father works primarily with energy, healing, manifestation, direct contact with the beings. I work more with consciousness, helping people expand their awareness and understanding. My brother handles the administrative and organizational aspects. We each have abilities in all three areas, but we've specialized to create a complete system. One person couldn't possibly handle everything, so the mission was divided among three. People ask me if I've been inside a spacecraft yet. Not yet, but I'm working toward it. I prefer to achieve these contacts independently though, without my father's direct assistance. I want to earn it through my own development. That's one of the most important lessons I learned. Consciousness is what creates the contact. Before you sleep, spend 5 minutes visualizing and asking to be guided to your correct path, to your true mission. Don't police yourself during the day wondering if you're on track. Just do that 5-minute practice before sleep and let your subconscious, let God, let nature arrange the opportunities. Your mission will unfold naturally, spontaneously. You won't have to force it. That's how this very conversation happened. Someone showed up with a camera and now we're sharing this story with potentially millions of people. Synchronicity isn't random. It's orchestrated by forces that understand the bigger picture better than we do. Now let me address something directly. People hear stories like mine and they think it's fantasy. They think it's impossible. But consider this. The Brazilian military investigated the case in my region. There's a 600-page military inquiry document about the phenomena happening where we live. This isn't folklore. This isn't myth. This is documented reality that the government took seriously enough to conduct extensive investigations. 3. Young people reported seeing a strange creature in an empty lot, and it generated rumors of military capture. The case became a massive cultural phenomenon in Brazil. Why? Because it was real. The evidence was tangible. The witnesses were credible. And it wasn't an isolated incident. It was part of a larger pattern of contact happening in that region. My father's work with these beings continues to this day. I have contact with them every week or every 15 days. They provide guidance on evolution, on consciousness development, on preparing humanity for what's coming. Because something is coming. We're approaching a pivotal moment in human history where the veil between dimensions is thinning, where contact will become more frequent and more obvious. Some of us are being prepared to serve as bridges, to help others understand and integrate these experiences without fear. That's why my father was so subtle with his teaching. Fear is the enemy of evolution. Wonder is the catalyst. He wanted us to approach these phenomena with curiosity rather than terror. Think about what I saw as a child. My father's glowing skeleton, objects moving through telekinesis, beings of light communicating telepathically, portals opening in cavern walls. These experiences could have traumatized me if they had been presented with fear. Instead, they were normalized as part of a larger reality that we're all moving toward understanding. The symbology work we do involves reading energy signatures that precede events. Everything that will happen in your life announces itself energetically before it manifests physically. If you learn to read these signatures, you can prepare. You can make better choices. You can align yourself with your highest path. This isn't fortune telling. This is quantum physics. Energy precedes matter. Consciousness shapes reality. These aren't mystical concepts. They're scientific principles we're only beginning to understand. My brother and I learned to codify these energies through direct training with the extraterrestrial beings my father connected us with. We learned that a silver light in someone's solar plexus means one thing, while a golden light in their heart chakra means something entirely different. The intensity matters. The pulsation pattern matters. The clarity or opacity matters. It's a complete language of light and energy that exists beneath the surface of everyday reality. Here's what most people don't understand about extraterrestrial contact. It's not about them coming to save us or invade us. It's about them helping us remember what we already are. We're multidimensional beings having a physical experience. These extraterrestrial races are simply further along in their evolution. They're showing us what's possible when consciousness expands beyond the limitations we've accepted as normal. My father never had an easy life. Money never stuck to him because his mission wasn't about accumulation. It was about service. He never owned a nice house or drove an expensive car. He focused entirely on the work, on preparing people, on being a bridge between worlds. That kind of dedication requires sacrifice. It requires putting mission above comfort. And you know what? I'm grateful for that example. Growing up without material luxury taught me that real wealth is consciousness. Real power is understanding. Real success is helping others evolve. Those are lessons you can't learn in a mansion. You learn them in a palm leaf house in the middle of the forest, walking 3 kilometers in darkness to meet beings from other worlds. The contacts continue. The mission expands. More people are awakening to these realities every day. The government can't suppress this information anymore. Too many people have had direct experiences. Too many witnesses have come forward. Too much evidence has accumulated. We're reaching a tipping point where extraterrestrial contact will become accepted reality rather than fringe belief. And when that happens, people like my father, like my brother, like me will be here to help bridge that transition. To help people understand that these beings aren't threats. They're teachers. They're guides. They're showing us the next step in our evolution as a species. So I ask you again, do you believe in life on other planets? After hearing my story, after considering the evidence, after opening your mind to possibilities beyond conventional understanding, what do you think? Are we alone in this vast universe? Or are we part of a cosmic community that's been trying to reach us for generations? The truth is out there, and sometimes it's been right in front of us all along. In the glow of a father's skeleton walking through a hallway at midnight. In the silver lights that pulse in people's energy fields. In the beings that stand in dark forests guiding children to hidden caverns. In the portals that open in walls revealing realities beyond our everyday perception. This is just the beginning. My father's work continues. My work continues. The mission of preparing humanity for full contact continues. And you're part of this now. By watching this video, by opening your mind to these possibilities, you've taken a step toward expanded consciousness. You've acknowledged that reality is far stranger and more beautiful than we've been taught. The extraterrestrials are here. They've always been here. And some of us have been communicating with them, learning from them, preparing for the moment when humanity is ready to join the larger cosmic community. That moment is approaching faster than you think. The question is not whether contact will happen. The question is whether you'll be ready when it does. Everything I've shared today is true. Every experience, every contact, every impossible phenomenon I witnessed growing up with a father who glows in the dark and walks with beings from other worlds. This is my testimony. This is my truth. And I'm sharing it with you because the time for secrecy is ending. The time for revelation has begun.